morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Good morning.
Can I start by asking, well, what exactly are you striking for? I said a row over rest day working. Maybe you can give us a little bit more detail.
Yes, well, our members are being required or being requested to work continuously on their days off. So they work 5 days a week and get 2 days off like most people. And because Avanti and many train operating companies have continuously not employed enough people, they want them to work these overtime shifts, full shifts of overtime on their rest days. But there's no premium payment in place, no agreement. And instead they use their own management staff at highly inflated rates, more than our people earn. And we simply want an agreement on that so that we can get on with running those trains. And of course, it would be best if they employed the correct number of people for the contract they've got with the government and the timetable they're committed to. So if we can get some reasonable proposals from the company, we can look to get an agreement to run those trains.
Reasonable proposals, you say. What have you been offered and what do you want?
Well, we've been offered time and a quarter for midweek, while the management are offered twice that amount. They get paid double the amount that our members get for working those trains. But our members want an improved offer on that, and we will negotiate that with the company as soon as we get an opportunity. But at the moment, they're not making any offers that would be attractive to our people.
It is the start of a new year. We've had 2 strikes already. You've already said that you are planning to strike every Sunday from the middle of January till May. So already bad news for customers and people hoping to travel on Avanti West Coast.
Yeah, it's not good news, but we've been trying to get this agreement for many years, and the company has refused to do that. Instead, they pay themselves as managers far more than they would have to pay our members to work those trains. So it's time that we got an agreement. Other companies, other train operators have come to the table and made these agreements. If they had made an agreement with us along the lines that we're seeking, it would be cheaper for the company, cheaper for the government, and a much better deal for the passengers. And of course, it would be best if they employed the correct amount of people. There shouldn't be this level of rest day working where every day on the railway, people are being required to work whole shifts of overtime in order to run the service, because they're not employing the correct amount of people. It's cheaper to get people to work overtime rather than employ people in decent jobs. And that's what we're seeking ultimately, that the right amount of people are employed on our railways to run the train service.
I'm just wondering, you did mention some sort of figures, but maybe we can talk in pounds here. You know, what are management, you say, being paid much more than your members? What are they getting paid compared to your members in pounds, if we, listeners at home?
Managers are paid £300 every time they turn up for one of these shifts. And, of course, they're paid their wages. And at management grades, that can be £500 a day. And our members are being offered time and a quarter for those midweek shifts.
What does time and a quarter look like?
Well, time and a quarter for a 6-hour shift could be £200 or something like that, where a manager for the same shift would probably get £500. So that's not fair. And it's obviously not the going rate. If they're prepared to pay themselves such an inflated rate, they should be able to improve the offer to our members. If they did that, it would be cheaper to get one of our members to work the train than get a manager from the office to run the train. So I don't quite understand what Avanti are trying to achieve, but they're paying through the nose. And, of course, these managers are paying themselves. It's one manager that agrees to pay another an inflated rate rather than pay our members the correct amount of money at a premium that would get them to run these trains.
Do you think you've got public support on this? Because start of a new year, we've already had 2 strikes and, as I said, planned strikes on the way. You're going to lose faith. Customers are going to be very frustrated by all of this.
I'm sure they are very frustrated, and it's not a position we want to be in, and we understand that. But we cannot have a situation where the management grades in a company pay themselves inflated rates. And this has happened all over the railway.
But they have more responsibilities as managers, don't they? It happens in all forms of work.
Not when they're running the trains. In fact, they do less work when they're running a train than our members, because they don't have the competency. So they're already being paid to do their own job. They take a day off doing that job and then get paid a premium, which is more than they're prepared to pay our members. We don't understand that. It doesn't make economic sense. It's not efficient. They should be doing the jobs that they're paid to do, and our members should be getting a decent rate of pay to work these overtime shifts. But as I say, if we had the right amount of people, we wouldn't have to have anyone working overtime. We could run the trains according to the diagrams and the timetable that the company's committed to. But at the moment, they're not doing that. We don't understand that position, and I'm sure the public will be frustrated that the trains are not running to the level that they expect because of the intransigence of the company not willing to pay a simple overtime premium for these shifts.
Avanti West Coast, we did invite them on, but they weren't available, or they declined, but they did give us a statement saying that they remain open to working with you to resolve the dispute. Any signs of talking?
Well, we're ready to get around the table at any time. We will meet the company whenever they wish to.
But they don't want to meet you?
With that. Well, I don't know. We'd have to speak to them this week. They have not approached us during the holiday period when they knew these strikes were coming. They said they will just run this reduced timetable that you referred to rather than come to the table to get an agreement. We'll be available today or any other day this week or next week to try and resolve this dispute. And we believe it would be cheaper to pay our members to run those trains at a decent premium than the managers that they use in their place. We don't understand that position, and nor does anyone else on the railway, frankly.